Hi guys, it's me, Becca Lori Hector, your BS detector, and I am here coming to you at the end of your week with the next F word. Welcome to it. So this is my word of wisdom for the week. This is the show in which we take a word, we define it, we look at its definition, we think about where it lives in our lives, how we use that word, and if we need to make changes with that. It helps us to kind of focus in on different parts of our lives and kind of make tweaks as we need to. It's something that I try to do on a yearly basis, and sometimes a little bit more often than that. I'm having a particular struggle. So before we get to this week's F word, let's talk about last week's F word. So last week we talked about forgiveness. Forgiveness was a good one for me. I spent a long time on that word for a while, so I was really glad to share it with you guys. And the thing I wanted to really emphasize when sharing it with you guys was the whole concept of forgive and forget being ridiculous. Because the forgetting part doesn't allow you to learn from your situations so that you don't get stuck in them again. And so forgiveness is usually an important piece in there because you want to forgive yourself for your participation and forgive other people for their participation, because anger doesn't necessarily serve us well in certain situations. So that's kind of the discussion we had on forgiveness, and I'm curious, like, I never hear back from you guys. I never know if you actually spent any time on the F word, if you took anything away from it. So please hop down there in the comments and let me know if you're enjoying it. So I'm going to keep doing these videos, but as you can see, I'm a little bit exhausted and kind of out of sorts because I did start my new job this week. So in the spirit of forgiveness, I'm going to do my best to keep up with these videos, but they may come out on, early or late a little bit because of my new job. And I'm going to forgive myself if I can't keep our schedule perfectly. So that was my takeaway from forgiveness, learning to really forgive myself. What are the things that I need to forgive myself for, where I need to give myself a little bit more leeway to be imperfect. I'm really hard on myself. I'm harder on myself than I am on anybody else, which is often the case, I think, for people. We spend a lot of time with ourselves, so we beat ourselves up a lot. And I want to stop doing that some. So I need to start to forgive myself more. And that was sort of my big takeaway from forgiveness. Holding myself accountable for when I make mistakes and for doing my best to right wrongs when I can, but also learning to just forgive myself for being human and having flaws here and there and, making mistakes. So I'm going to work on that. It's going to be a tough one. It'll probably take a bit for me to be able to truly swallow it. But in the meantime, that was my takeaway, and I hope after you guys watch this week's video that you'll start leaving me some comments so we can have some kind of dialogue back and forth, so we can have kind of a connection, and I know whether it's worth it to keep doing these things. In any case, here we are. We're ready for this week's F word, and I think you're going to be excited about it. It's interesting. It's a little word, tiny word, but I think it gets kind of misconstrued a lot. So this week's F word is fun. Yes, fun. F-U-N, fun. Right? Here's a word we use all the time. And yet I still struggle with the word fun. Here's why. What I find fun, I think, gets judged as unfun by the rest of the world, and so I think that I don't call it fun in my life because it just doesn't fit for me. It doesn't work because what the rest of the world calls fun, I don't find fun. Maybe I'm not fun. These are some of my thoughts around the word fun. Because I just decided kind of on my drive home from my new job, coming back to do the video, that fun was going to be the word this week. Because I heard it used a couple of times today And I was like, oh, I guess that's fun. Oh, well, that's fun. And so then I thought, well, something's wrong here. Something's off about this word. So let's play with it a little bit. So we're going to do that. Let's start with the dictionary definition of fun. Here we go. Trusty, dusty phone. Think positive, everybody. Extra reminder. Okay, fun, the noun, right? Enjoyment, amusement, lighthearted pleasure. Okay, I like that. Pleasure, entertainment, enjoyment, amusement. Good. Adjective. It was a fun evening, for example. Okay. Entertaining, amusing, enjoyable. And then, of course, there's the less often used word of fun, which is sort of the joke or the tease. So like when you're poking fun at somebody, I guess. So I'm going to say, let's not, ooh, camera refocus. Okay. I'm going to say that we shouldn't use the last definition of the word fun because I don't think that it's used that commonly in that way. And I also don't think that's where we use it on a personal level. We don't exactly poke fun at ourselves very often, I don't think. In any case, moving on with the word fun. But I like that. Enjoyable, lighthearted, pleasurable. So, isn't fun a really personal thing? That's my takeaway. That's my thought about the word fun. Isn't the word fun your interpretation of it? So, what is pleasurable to me may very well not be pleasurable to somebody else, right? And at the same time, something that's fun to them just isn't necessarily fun to me, right? So I talk about it like this, right? I'm an introvert. I don't really particularly like large people gatherings. I can do them on occasion, but not for very long because I get tired. It's exhausting to my little introvert brain that likes the quiet and the peace and solitude inside my head. And so, what was my point? What was the reasoning for right. People always say party, right? A party is fun. Let's go have a party, or let's have a party, go to a party. It's fun. Well, guess what? I have never associated a party of any kind with fun. What's fun to me is walking on a hike and picking up rocks and trying to figure out what kind of rocks they are before I get home with my book. What's fun for me is binging out on Netflix shows. What's fun for me is a quiet afternoon at the Museum of Natural History, nerding out on those things. What's fun for me is some quiet time alone with my cats and reading a book. And that is fun for me. Not in the same way that for some people, a party is fun for them. And yet, I feel a little bit of shame about the things that I find fun. So I think I'm going to spend this week kind of exploring that concept of fun. I'm going to think about where this whole thing came from. Obviously, it's somebody else's rule about what's fun, not mine. And what can I do to sort of tweak it so that I stop doing that? Because having fun is such an important part of being a healthy, happy person. You know, it's just like we talk about how rest is so important in self-care, right? You have to rest. It's important for, as a part of your self-care. It's mandatory, right? Rest is mandatory. Well, guess what? Fun is mandatory too, okay? So I want to figure out how I can incorporate more fun and my definition of fun things into my life. Because I think I struggle with not being serious and having fun. And I want to find my fun side. I want to do that. So the word for this week is fun. I say to you guys, spend the weekend thinking about the word fun. What's fun to you? What's fun to the people that you love? What things are fun to do in a group? What things are fun to do alone? And how much time are you spending in your life having fun? Are you carving away time in your life for fun, right? It's important. We need that balance. We need to kind of balance out the intellectual stimulation, the physical stimulation, the emotional stimulation, right? And fun is an important part of your mental health. So you guys, spend the weekend having fun or trying to have fun. Figure out where the fun lives in your life. And let's see if we can't make room for a little bit more of it. Because I feel like as a whole, people in general, humans, we could use a little bit more fun these days. Things have become unfun. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy the F word for this week. You'll at some point see bobblehead of me and Walter. That's my subscribe button. You can go ahead and click on that and subscribe so you can catch all my videos, or you can go ahead right below and hit the subscribe button. And that way you can watch all the videos you missed, because the F word is not the only one that I do. On Sundays, I also do my not safe for work blog vlog thing, kind of my life, what's actually happening in my life and how I'm walking through the things that I'm trying to share with you guys. And then of course on Wednesdays we have our truth nugget, midweek safe for work nugget of truth for you guys. And I'm going to see if I'm going to be able to maintain that one. I might have to cut it down to 2 because it's just a little bit too much for one person, especially in a time of transition right now for me and starting a new job and having my schedule rearranged. But we'll see. We shall see. Tell me in the comments whether I should keep wasting my time, not wasting my time, using my spoons to make these videos. I would love to hear from you guys. I hope you subscribe, and I hope to see you on Sunday for No BS. I'm Becca Lori Hector, your BS detector, and I will see you next time.